Okay, quickly let's review what we have done yesterday. Um, so we've understood about what are the skills that are required. Um, what are the skills that are required for a professional to be called as a strategic business leader? So as part of this, we did see that it is important to be a leader. Should know how to lead the team. Then the ability to think strategically, that's another aspect of it. After that, we've understood about what are the professional skills one should have to um, appear for this exam, and then exhibit those skills. See, as part of each of the skills, what is the requirement is also given. So you need to understand that and then exhibit these skills in the examination. So 20% of the weightage would be allotted to these skills. So it's just not sufficient that you have the subject knowledge. You look into the concepts and then understand them thoroughly, able to express them. But more than that, applying these concepts into the situation and the ability to take the decision. So understand that, communicate, then acumen, applying this kind of knowledge to similar situations, taking a decision. See, skepticism is another thing, analyzing, evaluating. So these are the skills that are required. Okay, so I will also help you to answer the case studies. See, Monday, we thought of taking it up on Monday. In Monday's class, we'll do at least one case study from the topics what we have covered until then. Um, so today we will just go through the content. Content is vast. Just remember that the syllabus is vast. The many topics. See, conceptually, you need to remember. Also, have to understand then how do you apply these things um, to the situations, and then um, come out with a solution or whatever is expected of you. Able to provide a solution to that. So that is what is important. We've understood about what's the concept of strategic planning. The strategic planning is to achieve the organization's basic purpose. Various objectives are set. So these objectives are based on internal, external, and stakeholder analysis. And then when there is a comparison of the expected performance with the desired or the target performance, if they both are on par, they match, no issue. But if at all, if there is a gap that exists between these two, then measures have to be taken to close the gap. So for that, there are different strategic options available. So choose among the different alternatives that are available. Plan and implement that. As implementation happens, there is a review and control to correct the deviation. So that is about the strategic planning. We've understood 3 different levels of management. Then Johnson Schools and Whittington talks about as part of the strategic planning. First thing is the strategic analysis has to be taken up. How to take up the strategic analysis. Then we have understood that analyzing the internal and external analysis. So strategic analysis should be taken up, and then um, what are the alternative courses of action which are available or alternative plans that are available. So strategic choices, among them, different choices are there, different alternatives are there. So from among them, any one which is taken up, implemented. Then in the at the time of implementation, any kind of a deviation or based on the review, some other course of action has to be taken, appropriately it is taken up. So this is the triangle or given about the strategic planning by JSW, Johnson, Scholes, and Whittington. After that, we've understood about strategic drift. whenever there is a change that happens, along with that change, the organization also has to change so that it can adjust to the other factors, external environment. But if at all, if there is a resistance to change and then do not change as per the changes that are happening in the external environment, later on this can result in um, business failure also. So we see that what are the different phases where changes are do take place. The first one is incremental change, where it is a step-by-step logical slow growth which happens. Strategic drift is more than what is anticipated. If there is a change that happens, it has to be changed accordingly. Then the third phase is about flux, where there is a drastic change. So sometimes there is a requirement to even redesign the entire process and then change. And then finally, either it is a transformation, get back onto the track, or maybe it has reached that saturation point. So decline would be the next thing. So demise of that. We've learned about the different analysis, different models under these analysis. Under external analysis, according to our syllabus, there are three models given. Take up a pestle analysis, understand what are the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors that affect the organization. Then we've learned two models given by Porter. One is Porter's five forces model, another one is Porter's diamond model. So Porter says that there are five forces of competition which have to be faced. Analyze, see, under each of these forces, there are many points which we have discussed yesterday. So just remember those things, and then the approach to the answer should be see whether these forces do affect the business in a negative sense, or the business has already overcome these things. Therefore it is in a position to create a barrier to these things, or successfully is able to face the competition in terms of new entrants, competitive rivalry. See how can the power of the supplier and the buyer can be faced. That is the option was about integration, either backward or forward integration. So similarly, if the supplier and the buyer also are thinking about integration, then that again can create a threat to the business. The final thing is the threat of substitutes. Okay. Diamond model, it's a recommendation of Porter talking about they should enter into global market, foreign markets, because there are certain factors which are favorable to explore them. The main reason behind entering into global market is maximization of profit. So here in this case, he talks about four factors. Maybe because the demand conditions are very favorable. So to explore that, business should consider entering into the foreign market. Factor conditions, so the factors of production, these things are available with them. So to get benefit out of that. Related and supporting industries, maybe they are also present there. So there would be no issue in terms of establishing the main business unit there. Then maybe the strategy structure and the rivalry among the competitors is very easy to chase it or face it. Therefore, they should consider entering into a global market. But of course, that also has its own limitations. The model did not completely study about the different types of economies. That is only basing on the developed economies. Um, uh, Porter has come out with this model. So he did not look into what would be the scenario if it is underdeveloped or developing economy. Okay. Um, See, then again, his model was also criticized on the account that um, he was talking about the business unit entering into the foreign market, but he did not discuss anything about foreign players entering into the market. So it was only one way. So he was discussing about that. So that was considered as a limitation. Another limitation is, see, now that it is all a global market because of the connectivity through the internet. See, even if there is physically no presence of any particular service business in another country, also still services are provided. We see that um, see on the online platforms, we see that services are provided. So they're all connected. They're all so technically one business moving into a foreign market to capture the see the demand, etc., and then take it up, may not be applicable to a service business. So that's how diamond model is criticized. Okay. And then internal analysis as part of the internal external analysis. So internally, first we need to understand about the capabilities what they have. So it talks about the resources which they possess and the competency. So if what they have, even the competitors have, so they are called as basic resources, or the competencies are called as threshold competencies. See, the advantage, the competitive advantage can be gained only when what they have the competitors do not have. Okay, so the resources will be considered as unique resources, and the competencies are called as core competence. So these things will give them a competitive advantage. I did explain to you about what are CSFs, those factors that are important to achieve success. So critical success factors. Okay. And we've understood the difference between CSFs and competencies. CSFs are what they need to do good. So what is that they have to do well, so that they can have the chance of success. So they need to do good, and competencies are what they're already good at. So that's the difference. Value chain analysis. So there's a model given by Porter again. He talks about the internal environment in terms of the activities. So they are broadly classified as um, primary and secondary. So primary activities are inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and finally the after sale customer service. But these activities are not possible without the help of the support activities. So there are 4 support activities: infrastructure, technology development, HRM, and then procurement. All of them together, they add value to the customer. So that's the concept of value chain. So then we did discuss about SWOT analysis, and then we are doing performance analysis. As part of performance analysis, quantitative analysis was discussed. I did explain to you benchmarking, Baldrige performance excellence. No, we did finish that. Then strategic choices. This model was the last one which we have discussed. So the strategies for competitive advantage are, see, Porter has classified the industry or the market in 2 different aspects. One is the market should be looked at as a broad market, or it is a narrow market. So in a broad market, we see that there are alternatives available in terms of cutting down on the cost. Cost leadership is one strategy. Um, if they focus on cutting down on the cost, then they can be benefited. See, even in situations where they have to bring down the selling price, also they still would be benefited because their costs are absolutely under control. Then differentiation is adding in more features to their existing products to differentiate their products from the products of the competitors to gain a competitive advantage. If it is a narrow market, whatever is prevailing has to be followed. Done. Okay. Tomorrow I won't redact because it is taking a lot of time. Content is very, very vast. See, we need to learn so many models. So there is a next model. We are, this is all as part of strategic choices. The choices of the alternatives that are available in order to close the gap that is there between the desired outcome and the expected outcome. See the target versus what is predicted. See predicted or forecasted ones will those I mean, the performance based on that is possible by way of taking up different analysis, internal, external. So, what are they good at? What is that they can achieve? So, when it is understood that it is not possible to achieve what they desire, what the organization desires to achieve, if there is a gap between that, then consider either they can go for cost cutting or they can go for differentiation. Okay, then we see what are the different strategies that are available. The strategic clock, this is a model. So there are two variables. One variable is given on the horizontal axis. We see that there is a price, and on the vertical axis we see that what is the perceived products and or service benefits. So how do the customer looks at these things? We see that the price is on the lower side, the value that is assumed by the customer to derive from the products or services is low. Low price, low perception, low assumption that the value that is added is also on the lower side, need not be bothered so much, because no frills, need not be so much be worried or be bothered about that, because the factor is that the price is on the lower side. But let's say if the price is on the higher side, the customers would take into account what is the value that the products offer. See when the price when the price is low, they may not be too worried or they may not be too bothered. But as soon as we see that the price starts moving to the higher end, it starts increasing, that is when the problem starts. So if the price is high, it better offers a high value on the products and services. So if it is the case, see, if the price is on the higher side and the value is perceived to be high, so the strategy about what they would offer or adopt is differentiation. So differentiation, they better add more features. So their product should be definitely much different from others. So that is how see high priced products, um, so they vouch for high quality. They vouch for additional features. So the among the smart, see of late nobody is talking about ordinary phones. So among the smartphones also we see there are smartphones. Then extreme end is the iPhone. So iPhone, I mean, talks about, see there are many things which are associated with iPhone. So there are, apart from the features, see there is a brand identity also. So they better differentiate their product from others because of the fact that the price is quite high. Okay, as it moves towards the high price, see the value should always be on the higher end. If the price is on the lower end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter so much about what is the value. So at the low price, low is the value that is offered. See, no frills, no issues with that. But as the if the price is on the lower side but the value keeps increasing, we see that hybrid model is adopted in terms of see price is low but better features are provided on the product. But as soon as the price keeps increasing, if they do not differentiate their products from the products of the competitors, the next threat what is seen is, if the value keeps falling, the consequence of that is the strategy will fail. Okay, so if the value should always be provided as high, differentiated, but if the value is at the lower side, there is a danger that we see 6, 7, and 8, as soon as the value, the price increases, and if still the value is on the lower side, all these things are fail. The strategy that will fail. Okay, so it is very much dependent on, for the products, what is the value that is offered on that. How to sustain the competitive advantage? Now, competitive advantage would be, see, when do they have the competitive advantage? See, when they possess certain things which the competitors do not possess. So in terms of resources, in terms of competencies. See, the competitive advantage lies with when their resources are unique, when their competencies are core, which are not there with others. So once that they gain the competitive advantage, in that case, how to sustain that? Ensure that the competitive advantage they continue to enjoy over their competitors. The capabilities that are needed to sustain competitive advantage are value of strategic capabilities, okay, rarity of strategic capabilities, and robustness of strategic capabilities. So they have to ensure that the strategic capabilities what are available with them, um, ensure that the value that is offered by these unique resources and the core competencies do add value to the customer. So ensure that there is value added by these capabilities, then only they can continue to have that competitive advantage. See, better enhanced value has to be added to the customers. So customers have to be, they have to be satisfied. So efforts have to be put into ensure that the customers are satisfied. So as long as these strategic capabilities can add value to the customers, then for that long time they will have the competitive advantage. Then these capabilities should be unique. Ensure that, see, they manage to have these capabilities different from the competitors. So uniqueness should be there. Rarity, uniqueness. Then robustness. See, it should be something different from what the competitors are offering. Okay, robustness. See, ensure that competitor will not be able to copy what they are providing. See, so that kind of an exercise has to be put in. So as long as they set them apart or different from the competitors, they will be able to have the competitive advantage. That's about sustaining competitive advantage. Then we see other ways to gain competitive advantage are innovation is required. See, innovation in every aspect of it. Innovation, we just cannot limit innovation in terms of manufacturing, in terms of producing the product, but every activity that is taken up has to have some innovation. See, starting from the main operation, the production activity, till the final disclosure, right at the time of reporting also, there should be some amount of innovation built into their processes, um, so that they would be valued better than the competitors by the customers. Knowledge management, this encourages innovation and sharing. So share this knowledge with others, and it reduces complexity. It also ensures continuity as Staff turnover. What staff turnover? When there are changes in the workforce, then that would be referred to as staff turnover. So when they share the knowledge with others, this encourages innovation and sharing, and it reduces complexity. So people in the organization would be well aware. See, knowledge management, they can have uh, databases created, and people, employees in the organization, if they are given access to the database or they are provided training from time to time, their skills are developed, then in that case, the knowledge, if it is shared among the employees, they would be satisfied, more motivated to perform better, and then they may not think of leaving the organization. So that is about knowledge management. Sustaining competitive advantage, how they can have, what a competitive advantage they have, how can they sustain that competitive advantage. After that, see, we have started with this aspect about what are the competitive strategies, strategic clock, and then maintaining competitive advantages. Next aspect of it here is what are the growth strategies. Then we will talk about strategy evaluation. See, when the business carries on with the activities period after period, then see, incrementally, some changes do happen. See, in terms of performance, they would perform better than the previous year. That is incremental change, incremental growth that happens. For an organization to achieve its main objective, the mission, the goal of the organization, to achieve that, if they depend on the incremental changes, let's say they wait period after period for some change to happen, some growth to happen, um, it is a time consuming process until the time they achieve their basic purpose. That is also growth. See, because they would not stagnate at a particular point. The performance would not be stable every year, but definitely it will tend to grow. Tend to grow in terms of the number of units sold, in terms of the profit margin which they have achieved, etc. Okay, that growth is called as incremental growth. But sometimes the business unit is quite ambitious, want to achieve the growth as quick as possible. Okay, so depending on that, what are the what are the different strategies, or the focus areas when they want to grow? What are the focus areas which they have to have? There is a matrix explained by ENSOF. ENSOF explains that in terms of growth, in terms of growth, what are the different strategies that are available with the business unit? For that, he explains that in terms of two variables. The horizontal variable here given is products, and on the vertical axis we see the variable called as markets. Products and markets. Since the business is already present there in the market, so it he talks about to look into, in a particular market, are they already present? See, globally they may not be present everywhere. Definitely they would first start with the domestic market. So whether they are present in a particular market, existing market, and they are already selling a product, so existing product. So on the products, on the horizontal axis, we see on the left side it is existing products. On the right side, if they are planning to come out with a new product. And on the vertical axis, on the top it is existing market. They are already present in the market. Then it is about entering into new market. So what are the focus areas? What is that they have to focus on? Let's say the first quadrant has the products are existing products. They are already present in the market. Okay, so then what should they do? They are already um, they are already present in a particular market with already their products are being sold in that market. In that case, the strategy which has to be adopted is just not be satisfied with what they are selling, but identify if there are any unexplored areas in the market. Is there any customer group or segment whom they have not catered to? Identify that, identify and attract those customers. So get deep into the market, identify, explore the areas where they it is possible for them to reach out to those um, customers. See, health drinks. See, they're generally the lower income level people were not. They would not use those products sometime till some time back because of the price part of it. Price is definitely high. Maybe the affordability was not there or something. So they have to reach to that particular level. They started coming out with small sachets as low a price as 5 rupees also. So see, whenever they can afford, they can buy that. So that is exploring into the exploring the unexplored areas and reaching out to them. So that's one example what we can call. See, otherwise, uh, see the people with a decent income levels, they thought of buying those products. So maybe pricing it at 200 or 300, 400. See, there are different prices again for these kind of products, but that was not reaching to the lower income level people. So what did they come out? Alternative was to make it into smaller packets. So whenever they can afford, at least they can buy at those times. So that was one aspect about penetrating into the market. They are already present. There's nothing new about that particular product. There is no differentiated features of that. They did not lower down the quality. They did not lower down the price, but the availability made it into a different form. Okay, so instead of a bigger packet, they made it into a smaller packet. So that way, there was an effort to reach out to those areas where it never reached earlier. So it is the same market, it is the same product, but penetrating into the market. Okay, let's say if the product is an already existing product, but if they have to enter into the market, sometimes we are aware of certain brands which are being sold in foreign markets, but then in that case, if the foreign player wants to enter into the domestic market, the customers are aware of what the product is, but reaching out to the customers, so then they have to understand the market dynamics, they have to understand the competitive strategies, who are the competitors, how to face that. So focus on that. The product is already existing. See, there is awareness of the product, but they now are entering into a new market. So if it is a new market and then the product is already an old product being sold in another market, but entering into now a new market. So in that case, we see that existing product entering into the new market need not be focused so much on the product part of it. Product is not the criteria, market is the criteria. So think about how to develop on the market dynamics and then reach out to the customers in that new market. Let's say they are present in the market. Okay, they're already present in the market, but they are coming out with a new product. Coming out with a new product, the market in the market, the customers are aware of their company, their brand, what they're good at. But since they have added a new product to their product line, the focus should be on coming out with the product which can maintain the reputation. So focus should be on product development. The focus, entire focus or the strategy should be in terms of developing a new product which can attract the old customers and then do well in the market. So the market is already there. The customers are aware of that particular brand. Okay. Um, they understand about what kind of products um, the company provides. But here now, when a new product is introduced, so this product should continue to attract the old customers. So they need not be worried about attracting the customers because they already know about the company, the different types of products the company is providing. So this time they need to focus only on the product development. So product development is the strategy which has to be adopted. But let's say it's a new product and the market is also new. So the strategy is about diversification. Entering into new areas with new products. So focus should be um, catering to the development of the product and also attracting the customers. So the market dynamics have to be understood, and also the quality of the product also has to be taken care of it. So it is about the diversification. So this is a model explained by Ensof. So what strategy is appropriate to in a particular situation? If let's say that is what is given in the question, you should think about what is that, what is the focus area, how should they develop their strategies, and then what is the focus area, how they have to come out with, or what they have to concentrate on. That should be your suggestion, okay, depending on what is the existing scenario there in the question. I hope it is clear. Okay. um See, diversification, if we talk about diversification, who's that, whose camera is on? Doesn't matter, I'm not supposed to get distracted. Diversification. So how can they think about diversification? So the diversification aspect of it is, yesterday in Porter's five forces model, we did learn about integration, see, forward integration, backward integration. So you understand the concept of diversification, moving backward, forward in the supply chain, acquiring the source of raw material and then making an arrangement for themselves, or moving ahead, moving forward, and then able to reach out to the customers directly. Okay. So that is about forward and backward integration. So forward vertical integration, backward vertical integration. Apart from that, acquiring another business on the same level. So somebody who's uh, producing and selling similar type of products. So acquiring that business, or enter into that particular area, and then horizontal diversification. So that would be on the same level. See, the other business is also producing a similar type of product. So that would be horizontal diversification. Enter into that particular, acquire that particular business. Okay. Sometimes it is a conglomerate where it is unrelated, completely unrelated products. So they may also acquire a business like in that manner. See, Tata recently has acquired Airways. The Airways business, Air India company. So they have they were not into that earlier. So it was acquiring completely unrelated diversification. So venturing into new areas. But see, otherwise, Tata was known for being present in the consumer goods. They were known in automobiles. They were known for their quality products or affordable products in different categories. So that was completely unrelated to enter into a new area, acquiring a business. Air India company they have acquired for whatever is the reason. So that helps them to I mean the main focus about diversification would be to, even if they make loss in particular area, they can make good the loss by earning profits in other areas. So um, this would be one strategy about minimizing the loss, mitigating strategies to minimize the loss, and ensure that they can make a profit. So yesterday I did explain to you about forward backward integrations, but apart from that, they can also think about entering into areas where by acquiring a business producing a similar type of product. So that is horizontal diversification. Both of them are on the same level. Okay, that's horizontal diversification. Acquiring another business where it is completely unrelated, so then it would be called as a conglomerate. Okay, unrelated businesses, if they acquire that, so that's another type of diversification. So they can focus in these areas. It's a new product, it is a new market. Once the strategy is decided, so we are all studying, I mean, we are studying all these topics as part of strategic planning. Once the strategies are prepared, so any plan that is prepared has to be implemented, should not be the case. See, of course, after thorough analysis, looking into internal aspects, external aspects, the expectations of the stakeholders, all that taking into account, only strategies would be prepared. So before they are implemented, they have to go through these three different tests. One is suitability, one is acceptability, and one is feasibility. Okay, the strategy that is prepared should be suitable to the purpose of the to the what we call the purpose for which the organization is established, or whether it suits to the objectives of the organization, what they want to achieve. Okay, it is suitable to the nature of the business which they have. So that suitability has to be tested. The strategy, will it suit to their business, because that business has a particular purpose. So does it suit in that particular context? Suitability has to be tested. Acceptability, there are many stakeholders. Can you list some of the stakeholders? Who are the different types of stakeholders? Any examples of stakeholders? Who's there? Who which groups are there? Who are all stakeholders? One or two at least. Can put it in. Customers, yes, very good. Customers are one stakeholder. Shareholders, government, employees, okay, suppliers, general public. Then we see environmentalist creditors, environmentalist groups, then um, trade unions, okay, media. All of them are stakeholders. So now the strategy that is prepared, is it acceptable to the stakeholders? See, it is not possible to make a to get the acceptability of all the stakeholders. It may not be possible, but whoever are the key stakeholders, of course, always the first in the category is the shareholders, because most of them, the profit seeking organizations, most of them have the primary objective as a profit maximization. So key stakeholders are shareholders, investors, then we see customers, then okay, so most of the key stakeholders, is this strategy suitable to them? Okay, acceptable to them. I'm really sorry. Is it acceptable to them? So acceptability of the strategy by the stakeholders. So it has to be tested. Because everybody should be agreeing to this strategy may not be a possibility, but then at least the key stakeholders should agree on the strategy. Feasibility is it practically possible for them to implement such a strategy? See, desired see, they could be quite ambitious, so they can have a strategy which is framed, which is designed to achieve the best possible result, but it should be feasible, it should be practically possible to achieve that, because the internal analysis, when it is taken up, they do understand the weaknesses of the business. So that's one aspect of it. There are threats present in the external environment, so they may have the desire to achieve something, but it may not be practically possible to achieve those strategies. So the strategy also has to be tested in terms of, is it feasible, is it possible for them to achieve that strategy. So every strategy that is prepared has to go through these three different tests, whether it suits the business, the nature of the business, suitability is there, whether it is acceptable to all the stakeholders or most of the stakeholders, the key stakeholders at least, then whether it is practically possible to implement such a strategy. See, the plan should be achievable. So then only it motivates the employees to implement such strategies. See, something which is very difficult to achieve, they lose the interest, they feel demotivated, nothing can be achieved if such a strategy is prepared. So therefore they also have to test whether it is feasible for them to have such a plan or such a strategy in place. Okay, so these are the three different key tests that have to be taken up in terms of evaluating the strategy evaluation. I hope that's clear. Then we'll start with chapter 6. Okay, chapter 6, what are the methods of strategic development? Methods of strategic development. We would be looking at how to implementing growth and assessing the business units. Here again, we see there are different models. Which we need to learn. Implementing growth. So we are talking about the growth aspect. Implementing growth, how would they grow? If we are talking about implementing growth, and okay, growth can be looked at as organic growth. Okay, growth can be looked at as a dynamic growth. Okay, organic growth. See, organic is natural. Naturally, what happens? See, when it is organic, it is time consuming. It doesn't happen quickly. So therefore, now I think we also have this concept of organic products. See, the agricultural products, they claim that these are organic products. So what do they say? There was no fertilizer used, or there was no fast growing strategy used in terms of producing these agricultural products. You must have come across that. They do not depend on any artificial methods to grow that, allow that plant to grow all by itself. Time is only the criteria there. So naturally it grows all by itself. So there's no external support like a fertilizer, pesticides, etc., with which the plant gains some strength and grows. So that is all not there. So naturally it grows. That's the concept of organic. The business also, without having any other external support, if it is allowed to grow all by itself, time is only the criteria. As the time passes by, when the organization grows gradually, then we call that to be as organic growth. Okay. See, organic growth, we see there is internal development. It is easier to control. That's a question mark. Can be risky if not enough skills or experience are there. So, under organic growth, see, because as the time passes by, there is efficiency which can be achieved because of economies of scale, because of doing things in a better manner, doing better than the previous time by consuming less amount of time, okay, by economizing on the uh, cost, by saving on the resources. There is some amount of growth that can be achieved. So it is an effort of internal development. Okay. Um, See, additional efforts are not required. See, what was done last period, it would be continued to be done in the current period also. Some amount of change would be there. So it is manageable within their reach to manage that kind of growth. So the question is about, is it easier to control? So easier to control. Um, then can be risky if not enough skills or experience. Um, what was managed in the past period has to be managed now also. So only thing is, there are, whatever is the incremental growth which is anticipated to happen, they need to have sufficient skills to manage that incremental growth. Therefore, so if that kind of skills are already present with them, then it is manageable, it is easier to control. But if they do not have those things to take up anything additional than what was done in the previous period, then it would be a little risky to manage that. So uh, that's one internally, that's one aspect. If they are depending on internal growth and if they are depending on organic growth, the market, the competitors are growing at a different level, then surviving in the market becomes a difficult aspect. See, with the same performance as in the past periods, if they continue to have the same performance, if the market is growing at a completely different level, let's say the market things have changed drastically, they have joined hands with others, they are growing in size, capacity, volume, etc., facing such a competitor then becomes difficult. So do they have those skills to face competition at that level? That is another aspect which has to be looked into. If it is, if the growth is at a is organic growth, if it is at a level which is not very dynamic, which they are not keeping themselves on par with the competitors. So that's about organic growth. Another alternative about growth is by this is a dynamic growth by considering mergers and acquisitions. So what does it mean by mergers and acquisitions? Joining hands with others or acquiring another business is about acquisition. What happens if there is merger or acquisition? Okay. Already they are operating at some capacity level, have a market share, customer base, everything they have acquired. After that, is there any sound disturbance coming? Because in the neighborhood there is something going on. Is it disturbing? You just let me know. Then I will think about closing the door or something. Is it disturbing? So, is there any kind of disturbance in terms of sound? Okay, done. Fine. Okay. Since they are already operating at a particular level, um, they would have captured the market, the customer base, market share, all that would be enjoyed. Suddenly, by taking up another business, acquiring another business, joining hands with another business. See, unit one, if their business is unit one, competitors' business is unit two, taking over that business, 1 plus 2, that will become a bigger size. If they have captured 20% of the market and the competitor's business has captured 20% of the market, so when these two are joined together, it would be about having a market share of 40%. So the size immediately increases. When the size increases, the activity increases, the volume increases, the level of activity that is taken up, everything else increases. Okay, proportionately or not proportionately, the level of profit also increases. Okay, that is a dynamic growth. That would be instant. See, achieving a 100% growth rate may require 5 to 10 years, if or in an ordinary business, or it is anticipated that it would require 5 years. That 5 years growth can happen just in one at one point of time by just acquiring another business. That's dynamic growth. Okay, that is another aspect about implementing growth. So, what is that they would be considering? Would they wait for some time and then let the growth happen all by itself naturally, grow at an incremental pace? Time is the criteria, wait for that time and then grow, or grow at a dynamic pace by going for mergers and acquisitions. So when can an acquisition happen? When they can get a controlling stake in the other business, which is greater than 50%. So acquiring shares of another company, um, in the proportion, in the ratio of more than, or in the quantity of more than 50% of the shares if they acquire, I think an acquisition happens. So there are advantages of mergers and acquisition. First one, it talks about synergy. See, assess by synergy. What does it mean by synergy? See, individually, the benefits that can be achieved, okay, when these individual benefits are clubbed together, the sum total of it exceeds the total of the individual values. Generally, I mean, how do we explain? If there is benefit of 2 from one unit, if there is benefit of 2 from another unit, 2 plus 2 should be equal to 4. But the result of the addition, the result of joining together, is the sum total is greater than the individual items when they are totaled up. So 2 plus 2 is anything, any value greater than 4. That is synergy. So maybe they achieve a value of 5. So that becomes possible when mergers and acquisition happen. That's one benefit what can be seen. Another thing is, see, the skills which were earlier not available with their business, if they are available with another business, I think they can get advantage of those skills, and the skills which are present with their business can be used in the other business. Now that it has become one unit by merger and acquisition, so this skills can be transferred to manage different activities. What was confined to only their business, now that can be used in another business unit. Okay, so they become a parent company and the other unit becomes a subsidiary. So the skills can be used in the subsidiary. So also, if there are any skills available in the subsidiary, those skills can be used in their parent company. So that is transfer of skills. Okay, then activities can be shared, to get benefit out of this mergers and acquisition. So now everything increases in size, volume, profitability. So that is that we see that that is one advantage of growing at a dynamic pace. Okay. Then of course there are criticisms also, limitations also for mergers and acquisitions. Okay. What could be the limitation? Anything you can think about? So what issues would be there when they want to grow at this dynamic pace? There are problems with that also. It's not that in that case everybody will go around capturing another thing or uh, getting a controlling stake in another business. So the focus will be about that. If it is all profitable, it is all rosy, then everybody will think about mergers and acquisition. This dynamic growth comes at different risks, at a cost. What do you see are the problems? Anything? Just mention. Do you see any problem with such a kind of growth? One point at least. The first limitation, the first problem which arises is they have to acquire a controlling stake. So they have to purchase more than 50% of shares of the other business, for which funds are required. So all the funds will be blocked up in those in the acquisition, in acquiring the shares, to the extent that they may not have the working capital to run the business. See, funds are required from time to time to carry on with the business activities. To run the business, they do require working capital, but in pursuit of merger and acquisition to happen, they may utilize all the available funds with them, and they may be left with no funds at all to run the business. When the working capital is not available, that will have great impact on the liquidity and the reputation of the business. So gradually it can also turn out to be a failure of the business. That's a very big risk associated with mergers and acquisition. We need not only look at the positive thing, the growth aspect of it. It comes at a risk wherein um, no funds are available to run the business. That could be one thing. When they acquire another business, the skills that are required to run such a business may not be available with them. The management is not capable enough to manage such type of business. Then in that case, what happens? Then again, if they cannot manage that business, it will result in a failure. So we see that mergers and acquisition also happens at there is a cost that has to be paid for that if it is not managed effectively. As time comes, as situations arise, we will also discuss about other aspects of it. But don't ever think that this is all a very good decision about acquiring another business to grow. So it is also quite risky. See, implementing growth by joining hands with others or doing business in terms of alternative ways. Okay. See, joint venture, these are different types of joint development, joining hands with others, different aspects. Um, you would be knowing all of them. Just but let's just quickly run through what these things are. We see joint venture, business partnering, strategic alliance, license franchise agency. So, what is a joint venture? If we look into that, joint venture and strategic alliance is when people from different business units come together and carry on with the business activities. So, that would be about joint ventures and strategic alliance also. Joint venture, see, A and B come together and then they establish a new business unit, maybe called as AB. Um, that is joint venture. A and B come together to do the business, but they do not but they do not establish a new business unit. They just carry on with the activity. So that would be called as strategic alliance. So there is no business unit established as such in case of alliance. Partnering, we see partners contributing capital, pooling in their resources, and then coming together to start another business. It's partnership, business partnering. So we know what is business partnering. Then we see license, franchise, and agency. How do you differentiate license and franchise? Any one of you? How do we differentiate a license from a franchise? Any one of you? No idea? No idea? Nobody listening to me. Anyone need not differentiate. Just tell me what's the concept of licensing. Ah. Franchisee is running a business with another name. It is an agreement. See, another unit can be established under the brand name. That is franchisee. Allowing them to use whatever asset they have, an intangible asset they have, to get benefit out of that, allowing them to use their intangible asset and be benefited. That's licensing. But franchise is allowing them to yeah see he allowing them to start another business unit under the uh, brand title. That is franchising. So joining with others, allowing them to get benefit or share their license, and allowing others to get benefited out of that is license. Franchisee, allowing another entity to establish a business unit. As against that, they will be receiving a share in that income periodically. Okay. Appointing agents to start an agency to carry out their work. See, they would be working on behalf of the principal in the capacity of an agent. So it would be appointing someone as agents to take up the work on behalf of them. So in all these things, they are joining hands with others to carry out the activities on a joint basis. So this way also it becomes possible, because the as the activities keep increasing, as the size keeps increasing, it is not possible for a business unit to manage all by themselves. So they need to join hands with others to carry on with the activities. So maybe people from different units come together and start a joint venture, or by establishing a new unit, or without establishing a new unit, they can join the alliance. They join together, so there is no new unit as such which is which is established, sorry, which is established. They just come together, share their resources, their skills, expertise, all that, and then carry on with the business activities. Or partners coming together, pooling in their resources under a partnership by having the terms and conditions defined, and then getting benefit out of that. Okay. And then license franchisee, allowing others to do the business under whatever benefits they have, allowing them others to carry on with the activities. As against that, they do receive some amount as against this aspect. Agency appointing agents to act on their behalf, and carrying on the work. So this way also, joining hands with others also, growth is a possibility. Joint development. Study text has explained every aspect of it in detail. It explains what are the advantages and disadvantages. So common things, see, when they join hands with others, the first important thing is, um, it may not be on the same level. See, the first thing is, the privacy is lost. They will have to share the profits with them. No clarity about when there are losses, who would bear that. Okay, the expertise, the knowledge has to be shared with others, so it may not be beneficial for them because of the confidentiality issues which are shared with others. See, in terms of who would be contributing how much, no clarity would be there. Okay. Decision making control will be lost. So that is another aspect about it. So the risk is already present. The risk would be present when they join hands with others. To what extent these aspects can be. The advantage wise, we have, I mean, we've been discussing about the advantage. The size increases, the volume increases, activity increases, profit increases. That's the best part of it. Okay. But it comes along with that comes different aspects about losing control over decision making, uh, the clarity about how the losses would be borne, who would be contributing how much, so how much of the skills and expertise would be contributed by each one of them. So such kind of issues arise, and then those things would be looked into as risks or costs that are associated with joint development. Okay, so that's about growth. Okay. See, the aspect about is implementing growth, whether they would grow on an incremental manner